All right, everyone. Welcome back to this week's session of Banks Wants You to Know, your latest source for that financial discipline and literacy. So today, I like to build on last week's episode, go deeper into some examples that I hope will help you with your budgeting and your management of your funds. Now, last time, I can admit, it seems like I kind of just threw some numbers here on the board, did some adding and subtracting, and was hoping that it would stick as a budgeting example. But this time, I hope to show you some more realistic examples. Now, hopefully, these will be something similar to some of the situations you've experienced in your lifetime, or maybe you're experiencing right now. But first, before we go to the whiteboard, let's go. Let's talk about the focus of today's session. Now, I know we are in a time where it seems inflation, which is when economic factors causes an increase in the price of goods. Inflation is never ending. We hear about it on the news all the time. We hear from people we know. So it's out there. It's possible inflation could never end. Like, even just think about what your parents or your grandparents or just other older people in your life have said something like, back in my day, used to get a Hershey's bar for only 10 cents, or I can get a ticket and go to the Yankees game for just $1. Nowadays, that same candy bar is as high as $2, even higher at some stores, or tickets for any professional game can range from, about $40, $50 to thousands of dollars. Now, that's what you call inflation, over the years, over a long span of time. But we also experience it in our personal finances. Now, prices can fluctuate and they can go up at any time. For example, we just bought regular eggs from the store yesterday, the white eggs, and a dozen ran us for over $4 a carton. That's kind of unheard of. Now, I know you're thinking to yourself, or you have been thinking to yourself, everything is just going up except for my paycheck. Now, it would be great if the paycheck could adjust with inflation, but unfortunately, it doesn't really work like that. So, how do we combat it? This is where I come in. I will show you something that I call the seesaw principle. Now, you remember the seesaw from the playground. One person gets on, kind of goes down. The other person, depending on their force or their weight, it could, balance out, or it could, stay up and down. I even try to draw a little depiction up here. But the same thing can apply to finances as well. Like, if one thing changes, let's say it's balanced, but one thing changes, then another one may need to, come down to balance it. Now, our bills and our responsibilities, they can change at any moment. I'm pretty sure you've seen that before. Most times, those bills they can increase. I mean, these companies, these entrepreneurs, they got to eat too. So what can we do? Let's hit the board. Let's get into it now. All right. So first example here will be for someone who's making $1,500 every 2 weeks, or $3,000 a month. We'll keep it at we can imagine that this person here is getting paid twice a month, or semi-monthly, or even every 2 weeks. Excuse me, every 2 weeks. And payments here, I try to list the more common ones that people pay for. They are as follows. All right, in this crazy housing market, rent or your mortgage, $1,700. Now notice here, this person's getting paid $1,500 every 2 weeks, but the rent is $1,700, so they cannot take care of the rent or the mortgage off of one paycheck. So there's gonna have to be some strategy here. Will you save 600, save 700, or save half of it, 850 from that first paycheck of the month, and then you get that next paycheck, bring over that amount, that 600, 700, 800, or 850, bring it over to make that rent payment, and you'll be able to fund everything else. That's something I've had to do back in the day. Now, car payment, let's say that's 400. Let's say phone bill is 100. Utilities, I will come back to that. Let's say that's 120. Car insurance, let's say that's 200. Rates are increasing there as well. TV, I will lump. Let's say you don't have cable, and you got several subscriptions that you depend on, and those together, 75. Or you could have cable and you got a couple of subscriptions added in, things like that. We'll keep it at 75. This here, self care routine that will include, your haircut, hairdo. If you get massages on the regular, if you get a manicure, pedicure on the regular, this is a bucket for all that. Even gym memberships, uh, gym activities, whatever the case may be. I'm gonna lump it into that, and we're gonna allocate $250 to that. Now, something different from last video. I'm going to do the exact same numbers on this side to show balance here. Hopefully, the seesaw method can be depicted very well here. Sake of time, I did already add it up. It's going to be 2,845. I'm going to do the same over here. Example number 1. All right. Utilities here. This is not a constant. This is not a fixed. This is not a fixed bill because this depends on your usage. If you use more than intended, it's going to be more. You use less than intended, it's going to be less. Now let's say, okay, we're getting out of a cold month here in January. We've already paid $120. Let's say your February bill gets here, and from all that heat cranking you did, it went up $48 to $168. Big increase there. So I'm going to do it again over here on this side. That would bring this amount to 2,893. That's getting closer to this 3,000. This will leave you with only 107 left for your discretionary income. Whether you're gonna use it for groceries, for gas, for any fun things, or even if you're saving a little bit, that's cutting in. That's cutting into that. Now that this has went up, what's going to come down over here to keep this amount? All right, so let's say, okay, maybe there's one less thing I can do in my self-care routine. All right, I'm gonna say $48 in this bucket, bring it down to 202. One thing goes up over here at the same amount, like your pay didn't change. When this went up, something will need to come down here to maintain that same amount. That way, when you're doing other things with that remaining 155, you can still do some of the things you want to in that month when something unexpected. Or actually, I wouldn't even say this is unexpected because once again, this is a variable bill. Now, depending on what your local utility company offers, they may have an equal pay program where they could set equal payments per month depending on your usage. I think they do projections depending on the usage that you've had over maybe the last year or over a certain period of time. Only thing with that is if you happen to have a overage of usage that doesn't meet what you equally pay, then at the end of the year or the end of the billing cycle, you will have to make a payment. For us, it was a fairly large payment, which we didn't like. We had to find some money somewhere else. But if you use less, then you'll get a credit or you get a deposit back into your account. So there's that. Right, so for the next example, we're going to change this amount to, I'm going to do two fairly small bills on this next example. I'm going to touch, all right, let's say, okay, this happened with me recently, fairly recently. I got an email from Netflix saying, okay, my subscription price is going to increase $2. There may be a lot of people out there who have received the same email. All right, and just for the sake of this example, let's just say also Hulu also increased their prices by $3, and this goes up to $80. I'm gonna move it to 80 over here. Then at the same time, all right, you see that new iPhone is out, or you see that new Galaxy is out, and all right, I'm gonna go get it. I'm gonna make payments on it. This goes up $50. That was an increase, just like that. That was an increase of $155. Oh, excuse me, not $155. Excuse me, that just $55, which brings us to 2,900. Now I will include. Let's say you were able to save, okay, every month you're able to save another, $400 because of your income, things like that. Even with small amounts, there may be some decisions that you'll have to make. This went up, and this went up. What's gonna go down? Uh, maybe you're working on saving, or maybe this is for a big family where your grocery bill is $300 a month, and you want to keep it. You want to keep it at $300 a month. Will this have to come down? Maybe it'll come down to 200, so that um, you know maybe there's things you want to do for your kids, whether it's gifts, whether it's programs, athletic leagues, things like that, that you can reallocate that money to. Yeah, the savings will take a hit, but you just don't want to overspend. You can take it out of, maybe you flip flop it. Maybe I'll take $50 from grocery and put it somewhere else, or maybe I'll bring this down to 200. Whatever the case may be, no matter how small a change is to any of your bills, then something will still have to balance balance it out. All right, so for my final example, this is something for sure a lot of us have dealt with, and it's in the area of housing. All right, we're gonna keep it at 1,800 a month. Well, I'm sorry, 1,800 every 2 weeks and $3,600 a month. We're gonna keep it at that. Earlier, our mortgage was 1,700. Let's say, it took a big jump for the next year at $2,100. Now I'm pretty sure that's realistic for most of us, even for myself, because we took $100 hike on ours, on our mortgage. I think our insurance rate went up, and also our property taxes went up as well. That's lumped in with the mortgage principal, the main amount. So we pay all three of those together. Since those two things went up, we have to pay more. In this case, it's going to be a $400 increase. Everything else was the same from the first example. So that totals $3,245. This went up here. What's going to go up or what's going to go down on the other side? Now, there may be some days where, all right, I might not be able to get a haircut, a hairdo, anything like that. That you could take 100 from that, and do some other things, or you can go on maybe a search or see who can do good quality work. What businesses are out there that can do good quality things, maybe for a lesser price. That's something for you. Shop around for car insurance. Maybe you can take that down $100. One thing I wanted to show you all though is that leaves us with $355 to play with. You can save 200. Do some other things with it. You can save whatever amount you can, and then do some other things such as for your groceries, for your gas, for dining out, date nights, things like that. One thing I did want to show you though, let's say your car payment. Let's say you're down the line and let's say you did a 5-year payment plan on your car. You're in year 4 or you're close to year 4. You're ready to get this over with. You're ready. But if I added another $50, start adding $50 to this in the short term. Adding $50 to each payment. Of course, that's going to get it paid. It's going to get it paid earlier. It may not even take a year. It may not take a year and a half. It may get you, 6 to 8 months. Adding that $50 to it. I've done that before to go ahead and get my car paid off quicker. Once you get it paid off, there's your $400 back. And voila, this is gone. On a $3,600 income that you're getting per month, hey, you can. I mean, yes, this is still high, but you can handle that with no problem, and maybe even save more. Maybe you want to save more to get another car, anything like that. The possibilities are endless, but think about taking extra, put it towards a loan, get it paid off earlier. There's your money back. Now, also another option could be find ways to earn more income. There's also other side hustles we can do on our own time, such as food delivery, grocery delivery, ride sharing. There are plenty of others out there. Or you can get into the entrepreneur space using your gift to make that extra money that someone will definitely appreciate. In another video, I hope to bring you some things you can do with that extra income. Maybe you're thinking like, well, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get this extra income. I just don't have the time for a second job. I'll just make do with what I have here. That's great. God appreciates our contentment. He'll find us a way through in this financial journey through his wisdom, through his grace. Which brings me to the verse of the session, which is Galatians 6:9, which reads, "Let us not become weary in doing good, for at the proper time we will reap a harvest if we do not give up." To give some more context, previous 2 verses state, "Do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked. A man reaps what he sows. Whoever sows to please their flesh, from the flesh will reap destruction. Whoever sows to please the Spirit will reap eternal life." Now, God knows all we do. We cannot get anything past him, no matter what we think or how hard we try. Trust me, I've tried that. Did not work out for me. Now, making decisions to not manage our money correctly can lead us to that destruction. That destruction that Galatians is talking about. That destruction can lead to, or it can include like past due bills, repossession, foreclosure, bad credit, evictions. That can even lead to other things like crime, depression, things like that. It's really a vicious cycle. But applying that information we're learning, although the benefits may not be seen immediately, it will lead to those blessings that we're looking for, and those ones that even those ones that God has in store for us, the ones that we can't even fathom, that we can't even think with the human mind. Don't give up these tasks, especially when that temptation can creep in. It could come your way and cause you to overspend. Let's try our hardest to stay on the plan God is laying out for us. It will take patience, it will take trust, and it'll take us doing the work. Now, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in to another session of Banks Wants You to Know, where financial discipline equals financial success. Please like, follow, subscribe, or share if I've taught you something useful today. And I'll be back next time with something I want you to know. Thank you. Class dismissed.